Lesson 63. Clean, dirty, dirt, know of. Are the bottoms of your shoes clean?
No, the bottoms of my shoes aren't clean. They're dirty.
When our shoes are dirty, what should we do?
When our shoes are dirty, we should clean them.
Which do you think is the cleanest city you know of?
I think Tokyo is the cleanest city I know of.
And which do you think is the dirtiest?
I think Liverpool is the dirtiest.
Which do you think is less unpleasant, the dirt of the city or the dirt of the country, of the farm, etc.?
I think the dirt of the country is less unpleasant than the dirt of the city.
To be afraid. Do you remember if you were afraid of the dark when you were a little child?
Yes, I remember I was afraid of the dark when I was a little child.
Would you be afraid to go round the world in a small open boat?
Yes, I would be afraid to go round the world in a small open boat.
Do people shake when they feel very afraid?
Yes, people shake when they feel very afraid.
Guard. On your guard. Off your guard. What's the best way to guard against becoming ill?
The best way to guard against becoming ill is to eat healthy food, sleep well, and do exercise.
Must we be on our guard when we buy something from a man selling things in the street?
Yes, we must be on our guard when we buy something from a man selling things in the street.
Why?
Because maybe we won't be able to find him again if there's a problem with the thing we've bought.
What's the opposite of on your guard?
The opposite of on your guard is off your guard.
Calm. Quietly. What's the best way to calm somebody down when he's very angry?
The best way to calm somebody down when he's very angry is to speak quietly and pleasantly to him.
Are we having calm weather at the moment?
Yes, we're having calm weather at the moment.
If I were. King. Person. First, second person, etc. What are the two ways of forming the second conditional with the verb to be?
The two ways of forming the second conditional with the verb to be are if I was and if I were.
If you were a millionaire, where would you live?
If I were a millionaire, I would live in Hawaii.
Why?
Because it's beautiful.
If I were you, which language would I speak?
If you were me, you would speak Spanish.
If you were a king, what would your wife be called?
If I were a king, my wife would be called a queen.
If there wasn't a light in this room, would we be able to see well when it got dark?
No, if there wasn't a light in this room, we wouldn't be able to see well when it got dark. We would see badly.
If there weren't any food in the world, would we all die?
Yes. If there weren't any food in the world, we would all die.
If you weren't you, who would you like to be?
If I weren't me, I would like to be George Clooney.
Why?
Because he's handsome and has a lot of money.
If I were you. Advice. Expression. Especially. Can we use the expression, if I were you, to give advice to somebody?
Yes, we can use the expression if I were you to give advice to somebody.
Give me an example, please.
If I were you, I would eat more vegetables. Or, I wouldn't buy that car if I were you.
What's the biggest problem in your life at the moment?
The biggest problem in my life at the moment is learning English.
Give him some advice, please.
If I were you, I would study hard.
Win, won, won. Lottery. What's another opposite of the verb lose besides find?
Another opposite of the verb lose besides find is win.
What are the three forms of win?
The three forms of win are win, won, won.
Does your country usually win at football?
No, my country doesn't usually win at football. It usually loses.
Do you do the lottery?
Yes, I do the lottery.
Have you ever won?
No, I've never won.
If you won £1 million, what would you do with it?
If I won £1 million, I would buy a large house.
Useful. Useless. Possess. Is this pen useless?
No, this pen isn't useless. It's useful.
What do we do with useless things?
We throw useless things away.
What are the two most useful things you possess?
The two most useful things I possess are my phone and my computer.
Do you think that what you're learning now will be useful to you later on in life?
Yes, I think that what I'm learning now will be useful to me later on in life.
Why?
Because it will help me get work and speak to people from other countries.
Take by surprise.